Right, so we will be back and then focus on the, we might as well just go on with it, guys, can we? The unfortunate attack in Niger State, where we did bring you earlier on the messaging from the president, the directive that's given. But we've got two gentlemen joining us to talk us through this, if they understand it fully. We've got Mr. Wilson Inaligu, who is a former AIG of police. He was also, he served as a DPO in Niger State for several years on his rise as he moved on to become an AIG. And then we also do have former brigade commander in Operation Lafayette Dole in the Northeast. So I think we'll have two of them. But Mr. Naligo, good morning and thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thanks for having me. It's a long time. Welcome back and Happy New Year.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to you as well. Good to see you. But let me just check with, I think we've got retired Colonel Yahaya Lakali, who is he's the one I was referring to as a resident and former brigade commander in Operation Lafayette. Let's see if he's there with us. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Tambali. Good morning.
Okay.
And Happy New Year. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Good morning to you as well. Mr. Naligu, let me start with you. I know for several people, they will just wonder, yet again, another attack? Why does this keep happening seemingly unabated? Why does it appear as though the police can't just, or the security agencies can't handle this? You've been in this terrain before. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, I think, just like you have expressed, I'm also a little bit, I'm surprised because when the Aguara local government incident happened, that is the St. Mary's Catholic school, Borgu local government and Aguara, they are contiguous to each other. And from the command headquarters, from the state headquarters to Borgu or to Kainji, it's over 2 hours drive. And so, and most of these challenges are coming from the Kainji National Park. And I think over the years, I mean the past few years, there have been reports of infiltration in the park of terrorists or bandits. That means there is a kind of early warning. And again, we had a major incident, I think in November 25th, when these children were kidnapped from Papari. And ordinarily, because it is not possible for the command headquarters to give a robust response because of the distance. Therefore, what perhaps, since there have been the kind of early warning, even though those children were released, of course there was no arrest. That means these guys are still looking around the corner. So what I thought would have been done is to kind of have a robust presence in that area. That is Borogu and Aguara local government. Because there are two major towns where this happens, Gede and Guru. These are areas of activity. And it is not possible for the state to send any response. I mean 2 hours, the harm would have been done. So I think going forward, what I think they need to do is to look at this. This is an active operational area. This is an area we should maintain robust presence. This is an area we should even use air assets because the Nigerian Air Force has a robust presence in Kainji. I think it's one of their training areas. And so, once this thing happened, what are you able to do? When you start seeing the smoke of motorbike and the sound, the zooming sound of motorbike, what can you do? You are not going to be able to respond unless you have a large presence in the general area. So that, and I have also expected, and I think that should have been done, that even though since these children have been released, they should have a kind of pursuit to ensure that they are not able to regroup to cause more harm. And if it is true that over 30 were killed, it's most unfortunate. And I think I believe should be done, in my opinion, in view of the distance, in view of the fact that Borgu is the largest local government area in Nigeria in terms of land area. It's over 11,500 500 square kilometers. So it's a big, big place, and Agbara is equally big. So I think there's a lot going on, and the police has a lot on their hands, but it's all about trying to coordinate with the other forces, the Air Force, the DSS, the Civil Defense.
And speaking about that coordination, I mean, yes, we understand Niger State is large. That's about, I think, 8.6% of the country's landmass. So if you don't manage that properly, you will have a challenge. And perhaps these guys know it, and that's why they seem to be taking advantage of that. But the figures of casualties, there seem to be some conflicting casualty figures that we're receiving. Official number will say, well, about 30 or thereabout. But Colonel Lakali, you did get an update on the matter. If I remember properly, we thought we heard you saying you counted about 55 bodies. Is that right?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chamberlain. I am a native of that place, and 97% of those killed are actually related to me one way or the other. The fact is that concerning Aguara and Borgu local government area, which constitute Borgu Emirate Council, that place is a very flash point in terms of activities of bandits and terrorists. But unfortunately, that is an area that is left with little or no security presence at all over the years. So several narratives have been coming up, and people bringing a lot of information, but I can tell you for free that as at 10 o'clock yesterday morning, we counted 55 dead bodies. I personally told them not to bury them until they are counted, until we take records, we take videos, pictures and the rest of them. And we have all the evidence available to us. I'm not sure, as I'm talking to you now, I'm going back there this morning. I don't know whether after I left yesterday afternoon, whether they have discovered some other dead bodies. But before I left yesterday, we counted 55 dead bodies. And let me tell you, Mr. Chamberlain, the Papri village where the kidnapping of school children took place, and Kasuwandaji is just a stone throw. It's just a journey of about 20 minutes drive. But Kasuwandaji happens to be in Borgu local government. And I can tell you that from Kasuwandaji to Kainji to New Busa, where you have the divisional headquarters of the police, Nigerian police, and the area command, it will take you, because of the bad roads, it will take you nothing less than 3 hours before you get there. But from Aguara, you can get to that place within 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Ever since the incidents in Papri took place, we have not had security presence in that place. Not even police. I had the Commissioner of Police, Niger State, that time, Commissioner of Police, Abdullah Elema, saying he has several teams there, tactical teams. It's all lies. Let's be very frank. Human beings are dying and we are telling lies. We are telling lies with human blood. No. I need to tell the authorities from the federal to state level, there's no security present. On the day this incident was happening around 3, 4 o'clock, while the bandits were still carrying out their dastardly act, I called the commanding officer, 221. Of course, I know his predicament. He's helpless. He doesn't have the men. He doesn't have the equipment. He told me he was going to talk to the Air Force. Up to yesterday when I left there was no presence of any security personnel. As I'm talking to you, I don't know where they came in the evening after I left. I'm going back there. I'm going to confirm. I was able to get the Honorable Minister of Defense, Sova Musa. I spoke to him. I communicated him on WhatsApp, and I told him what is happening. He has promised to send security there. I'm going back there to confirm. I can tell you for free that place, and these bandits I've been hearing some narratives that there are bandits that are fleeing from from Sokoto or whatever as a result of airstrike by the US. It's a lie. These bandits have been occupying Niger Lake National Park for over 5 years now.
Wow.
For over 5 years. They have been there. They are based in that country. They've taken over the Niger Lake National Park. And these particular bandits, they left the forest more than 1 week ago. They went around and went up to, because we have boundary with Kebbi State. There's a village in Kebbi State under Shanga local government called Gebe. They went there, killed some people, and we keep telling the authorities. These guys have been patrolling that general area for over 1 week. On challenge, no response from any security force. As for Aguara, as far as I'm concerned, the police is virtually active, completely active, because we don't see them.
Colonel, I think it's in order for us to, send our condolences to you, because you are from that community, and you witnessed firsthand the aftermath of the terrorist attack in that community. So our deepest condolences to you, because it must have been heart-rending for you to go to the market shortly after that attack and see people dying or even dead in their numbers. You said you counted over 55 bodies. I can only imagine the trauma. I mean, but this is you who is a trained soldier and who has been on the war front, having served with Lafia Dole in the northeast. But just to see that number of people die in your community, I can only imagine just how much that must have really hurt for you. But do you think that, given all that you have said now, the fact that the roads are bad, ideally it should not take up to 20 minutes for the nearest security point to be able to respond to such a crisis, and the fact that you made a call to, I think the closest is a brigade commander to that particular place, and you said that you know that he was also quite helpless, as he would not have the required amount of men and the equipment. Do you think that this attack could have been forestalled in any way? Could we have prevented up to 55 people dying in a reckless attack by these terrorists?
Thank you, Mark. This attack was completely preventable. If the authorities have done, there was early warning. When these people started moving more than a week ago, patrolling that area, going to smoke, I can tell you for free, they went to around that Gebe village. They entered one man's house, brought out his children. He has girls and boys. They left the girls. They brought out 5 of his boys, 5 of his sons, and slaughtered them in his presence. This happened before the New Year. And nobody, that's our general area, there seems to be completely absence of, government. It's like it's almost like an ungoverned space. If there was responses while these people were patrolling, and we even know some of the informants. As I'm talking to you, I have listed some of them, we know some of them, and I've told the Honorable Minister of Defense, if they come, we will need them to arrest some of the well-known informants in that general area. They don't even hide it. This attack was completely preventable. If the needful was done, nobody, out of these over 55 people, none of them would have lost his or her life. And let me tell you, my friend, apart from the people they killed, they carried children, women, in over 100 of them. They left with them. They are currently with them. And these children included some of those rescued from Papri.
Well, Mr. Nalego, let me come to you, because I'm sure you've heard, I do not know if you were able to hear Colonel Lakale, talking about that particular tragedy. It happened in his community. And you spoke about the fact that we have seen movement within Niger State. The children who were taken in Kontagora local government area were only recently returned. And as you rightly highlighted, no arrests were made. Those children were just returned. So it has raised questions as to under what terms and conditions were they returned. Did we pay ransom? Did we empower these terrorists further, etc., etc.? And you've just heard the colonel say that these people have been lurking around, that no one should come and tell us about how it's because of the strikes in Sokoto, they're finding their way down to Niger State, that these people have been on the ground. And one would have thought that in that sort of situation, even if, you know, for any reason we had to negotiate whether or not ransom was paid, you know, negotiate with terrorists, be able to get lives that were with them back, one would think that we will keep a constant eye on them to know their movements. What exactly do you think is responsible for this sort of attack, and what has now generated this renewed onslaught? Because it seems that we're now beginning to see more and more frequent attacks on communities, especially in far-flung areas. What do you think could be responsible for it?
Well, I know that the attack by America might have ignited, but I think it's much more than that, because within the Kainji National Park, there have been intel and a lot of information that these guys have infiltrated that place. But the question is, should they be there? And I think what is going on in parts of Kwara, I believe, emanate from that area. So I thought what could have happened, I don't know. But after the release of those girls, and if there were no more captives with these terrorists, and this, as they're called, is to move into this location after active intelligence gathering to be able to dislodge them, because they are not supposed to be there, and most of them must have infiltrated to our porous borders. And so we have a long stretch of borders in those locations up to Sokoto and other places, more than 1,500 kilometers stretch. So what I think should have been done, immediately those children were released, and I think there should be security operation. All the instructions that have been given dominate the area and all that. But I think the security agencies, especially since we have a good air asset in that location, the police air asset, working with the Air Force, perhaps should have carried out more surveillance of the area. And once they see movement, perhaps they would have intercepted them. Because in these far-flung areas, what the security agency should rely on is about early warning and response. And how do the security agencies instill confidence in the public that they hear of something happening, they hear of movement, and they are alerted, and the security agency is moving. And I think it's not an area that, even though the rules are bad, as stated by Colonel, I wasn't hearing it too well. It's when you come on that I quite hear you. But I saw the child remains of human, and it's very sickening. It's very deplorable that this has happened in our country. And I think what needs to be done immediately is about who has the responsibility. Of course, the Nigerian police have been primacy, but the Air Force is there, the Army is there, the Civil Defense is there, the DSS is there. And I think,
Mr. Nolegu, I'm not sure. Permit me to my sincere apologies for voting in, Mr. Nolegu. The question that Maokwe asked has actually been on my mind as well. The fact that there were no arrests made leads people to conclude that there were certain compromises made. Now, one of the things that Colonel Lakale retired said is that they know the informants and that they are in their localities right there. Consequently, it is expected that the DSS officials in that area should know these people and should have signaled them for pickup. Just as you said, I mean, if we had this information ahead, something should have been done about it. So, on the one hand, arrests were not made. On the other hand, according to Colonel Lakale, this could have been avoided. So, is it possible for people, because it happened in the same states,
Is it possible for people to assume that the authorities actually knew who these people were, but they just didn't arrest them, and consequently are asking for more of these things to happen? Now that even the president has said that they should fish out the perpetrators, the question arises whether or not anything is going to be done and whether anything is going to come out of it.
A lot is going to come out of it. I think the secretary needs to be more robust in the engagement on the media strategy to be able to communicate with the public. I think perhaps arrests might have been made because you are not going to just get people out. Because within the communities, they know the informants. You are not going to keep over 300 people without feeding them. You can't give them only water. And for what they have done, they came into the city, burned the market, killed a lot of people, and stole a lot of foodstuff. So it is possible for the DSS, not only the DSS, even the public, members of the public who are should be able to. But the rest our cover is not going to be blown, and then that is. It's not going to be blown. I don't believe that arrests have not been made, but I think they may have not been made public. But I think the security agencies, to reassure the public, they need to communicate what they are revealing operational secrets. But at least this happened, we moved in, we secured this release, this number were arrested. You are right. It's about the strategy that they adopt in handling this issue. But we should regard this Agwara local government, Borogu, Kayama, and parts of Kwara, where all this is happening, that the security need to move in with the greatest force available, with all the resources, both land, air,
it still begs the question, because my apologies again, Mr. Inalibu, it still begs the question whether or not, anything significant was done to deter further occurrences. Let me quickly come to you, Colonel Akali, because we really have to go. Well, so Colonel, I hope you heard a bit of what Mr. Inalibu has spoken about this morning on this particular issue. And if you did, how do you respond? Do you think arrests were made? Do you think the authorities are aware that there are informants in the community which could have prevented this occurrence? And if so, why do you think nothing was done?
Thank you, Mr. Chamberlain. I think colleague here, I know he's talking from the best knowledge what he knows. But this from the community, to the best of my knowledge, no arrests have been made. Area absent. I stand to be corrected. It's a major new one. What I do is say. And I'm ready to end it. The community. If you want to operate in that area, you have to work with the community. Because the community knows people. If you want to get real information, it has to be from the community. They stay with the people. They know. They are staying in the house, so they know where it is leaking. And I'm talking to you. You see, our people are wondering. The constitution, particularly section 14, subsection 2D, says the primary purpose of government is to ensure the security and welfare of it.
All right, Colonel, what we'll do...
people are not seeing that. As far as we are concerned, let me tell you, Mr. Chamberlain, there has been no arrest.
Okay, we actually did reach out, Colonel, we actually did reach out to the police, the commissioner of police there, all of them, the public relations, to come give us a word, tell Nigerians what's going on, but they declined, as we see. They're not on the program today.
They're saying me now. I've been hearing whatever the superintendent of police. Each time they speak, they say in Mina. When the kidnapping happened in Papri, was the commissioner of police there?
Okay. We'll try and get back to them and see if they will respond.
The commissioner of police, the governor of Niger State, His Excellency Bago, is in Saudi Arabia, Leicester Heights. But the very day the thing happened, the chairman of Borgu local government called him And I'm sure that he must have spoken to the police commissioner, the DSS. By the following day, yesterday, we are supposed to have access. The commissioner of police was supposed to release a team to go there and take out on the spot assessment. But that was not done.
All right.
That was not done.
So we'll hope that they will respond to what you've said, because you say you are there, there's no police presence. You said, oh, what they put out there is not factual, it's not true, it's not correct. But we'll see how they respond to some of these things that actually assure the people that something is being done, because the president has issued a directive which is expected to be carried out. But we have to thank you, gentlemen, for talking to us this morning. Retired Colonel Yahaya Lakale, former brigade commander in Operation Lafayette Dole in the northeast, as well as former AIG of police, Mr. Wilson Elanigu, who also served as a DPO in Niger State. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time this morning.